my name is Bricia Tatiana Mariambo. I am a mindset and transformation coach. I am on a divine mission to help women just like you who suffer from past abuse, emotional, physically, and mentally, trauma. Heal from that, work the inside beauty, so that they can be able to serve the mountain of influence and impact the world like they're meant to be. I've always called it as one of the worst experiences in my life. I was a young girl, just a baby, and I describe that moment passing from becoming a child, from a child to a teen to a mom overnight, literally. And what happened is that at the age of 11, I was brutally introduced to my sexual life. I was sexually abused, and unexpectedly, and by one of the person I really trusted, and as a result of it, I become pregnant. I was living far away from the country, where so we were by ourselves, and someone was watching us while my mom was away abroad because my mom used to travel a lot. She was a single mom, taking care of her kids. And so she, during her missions for work and sometimes for luxury, she would leave us to people to watch and to look after us, people that she trusted. And unfortunately, one of them was the one who betrayed us, if you can say that, because he became the abuser. And the event did not only happen once, as of that, it happened over 7 months. And after that, of course, I was in shock. I couldn't even say a word, I couldn't even talk for many months. And finally, I discovered that I was pregnant. And I did not speak to the event to anybody else. I was pregnant, I was afraid. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't even know how to say. And until today, I always say that it's a life, it's a life treatment, because again, no matter what had happened, there's something that says that the mind might have forgotten about the pain, but the body doesn't forget about the pain. I felt horrible. I hated people. I hated myself. As a result of that, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror because I felt dirty. I felt dirty. Somebody has introduced to me that I was doing bad. But even that happened, I felt horrible. First of all, I spent all my life blaming myself. For me, it was because I was and I blamed God. That was the number one person that I blamed. And all of that, I spent years blaming myself. I spent years hating myself. I hated my body. I hated what had happened to me. I couldn't talk to anybody. I didn't have any friends at school. I didn't have anybody to talk to but myself. So I remember nights I would go to sleep and I just pray God what had happened to me. Especially when I found out I was pregnant, my only prayer, was like, God, I want to wake up in the morning and the pregnancy would disappear. What was I thinking? I was only 11 years old. Finally, the worst after the worst, when the baby came out, I had, if I remember, 13 or 14 stitches when it came out. Because again, I was just 17. It came out. I was 12 years old. It was my womb was not prepared for a baby. Everything was just so little. So it literally destroyed me inside out again. After the event. So I was suffering physically. I was suffering emotionally. I was just a horrible pain. I couldn't even sit because it was hurting. Everything was out, So I got stitching, and at the time I couldn't even think about it. That when I think about that day, here maybe you use anesthesia, but I don't recall that I was under anesthesia. It was just raw, man. So I couldn't even remember again the needle coming to my skin. Feeling that coming inside out, and seeing the nurse, getting inside of me, getting that in and out, it was just horrible. And as I was crying, I was just kind of God, why didn't you just make me die? I mean, why do I have to go through that again? And again, I was not even realizing that I was becoming a mom at the same time, because the baby had came out, but again, the pain that I had to go through again. And the second worst trauma happened when after a few years again here, I finished my degree. I was about to graduate, exactly a few months before graduation, a couple months before graduation. As I was coming back from school, from church, it was Sunday, and my mom called me Like exactly no more hello, and I was like, yes, mommy, how are you? She was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. What's going on? Uh, I just want to make sure, do you have anybody by your side? And I was like, yeah, my sister was here. She was living by me. And I was one of my friends over there too. I said, are you sure? I just want to make sure that you have an extra person next to you. I was like, mommy, what's going on? What do you want me? What is she? I kind of, what was going on? And she's like, well, I just want to tell you something, that had happened. I just want you to be strong. And I remember what's going on. Like, I started being kind of intrigued. So, you know what? Bijou has left. Bijou was the name of my son. Like, that was his nickname. I was like, what do you mean by has left? Like, what do you mean? Like, I just spoke to them last week. I just spoke to him last week. And she was just like, you know what? No, it was, it's just no more. I'm like, okay, well, mommy, what happened? Like, what's going on? Was he sick? Because I spoke to them last week. What happened during the week? And she's like, no, it wasn't sick. We just to hear that he died on the seashore. At that moment, my life just collapsed again. My life just collapsed again. I was like, no, you gotta be kidding, right? Like, now you gotta be kidding me, mommy. She's like, no, I'm not gonna lie about that. It's not. I went in, I already saw it. It's not really. It's gone. Guys, I told you, when they say that there's no worse thing than the death of a child, I felt it. Something inside of me just left me that moment. Something inside of me after being taken, by the rape, when I was sexually abused, I felt in pain. But that was, like we said, the cherry on the cake. I just told God, like, no. I said, this is it. I told God, you know what, this is it. I'm like, I'm done. Literally, I'm like, God, why would you do that to me? Like, after I've kind of passed through that, I'm kind of trying to heal. I'm trying to kind of move on my life, do better my life. You blessed me with this opportunity to study. And what is this, like, literally? So I told God, you know, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Literally, from the moment they told me that, I remember again standing. I was living on the first level of the apartment, the complex that I was living. And I only had one mind. I remember that moment where I just want to shift my body. I just wanted to jump and just die. And the only thing I remember, just my friend was coming and holding me and saying, oh, Brisa, please don't do that. Please don't do that. And crying in tears, screaming, healing, like really, the pain was just too much. I said, no, I can't, this is horrible, I can't do that. I said, why, God, why not me? Why has it done? I mean, it's so young, what happened and stuff? So I would yell, I was screaming. And that was the moment that I found out that life was nothing. You could have so many plans, but again, I think it just happened overnight. It wasn't easy because for many years I blamed God. For many years I told God, like maybe I thought that I've done something wrong. It was kind of a punishment for me to God, and I asked God why. So God told me, literally after that moment with my son, I've had an acquaintance with God, and literally told me, Bricia, everything that had happened to you had a purpose. You were born for a purpose. And I was like, what kind of purpose? I mean, like, by my ugly story and stuff. And he said, yeah. And he told me, I will heal you. But once I heal you, I want you to go and heal other people in the world. I was like, me? It's like, yeah, of course, you're going to share your story, right? I was like, well, me? Who's going to listen to my story? I mean, what kind of story? Who will go and stand and share the story? Like, yeah, I'm going to heal you, but I want you to go ahead and heal other people. After the third time he told me that, Bricia, I want you to tell your story. Because again, by you opening up to the world, you breaking that up, because Satan has called your mouth shut for many years. And that's what happened to many people. Satan wants you to stay there, wants you to be comfortable, because again, I was comfortable in my pain. And that was the only reality that I had. That was the only truth that I knew, that had become my identity. I was an abused woman. I was destroying myself as an abused woman, the story that I was keep on telling you. And again, the more I was telling that bitter story, the more bitter I was becoming. So God had me to open my mouth. Once I opened my mouth, it was like that would be the first step to your healing. Because as you opening your mouth, you frame your inside, you frame your soul, you frame everything that's inside. Because again, all those bad thoughts and emotions of wanting to commit suicide has caused the trauma, but also has caused poisoning in my system, has caused poisoning in my soul. And again, I was wounded. I was wounded, but I didn't know I was wounded. Outside, I was looking okay, but inside, I was dying. Like I always say. So, when I'm coming to that content, that's how I decided to go into really starting to share my story.